Hey guys, welcome back to another Battlefield 6 tips video, and today I want to go over 25 essential tips that every Battlefield 6 player should know, not only because they help yourself, but also because they help your team and your squad. But we're gonna start with number one, a few movement basics, and the first one is leaning, peeking, and mounting. And this is pretty easy, it's automatic, so you just go towards a corner and then your soldier slowly starts to lean already, and then you just aim down sight and then your soldier leans around that corner. And when you're hiding behind an obstacle, you can do the same. You just look into the direction you want to peek over and then aim down sight, and your soldier will automatically peek over this obstacle. And when you get out of ADS again, same as it is on the corner, your soldier will lean back. And when you want to mount your weapon, you just go into ADS and lean or peek, and then you press the melee button, which is F on PC, and on consoles, very likely either the right stick or B on Xbox and circle on PlayStation. Next up is crouch, sprint, and combat dive, and these are both useful mechanics, but to do them effectively, you should change a few things in your settings, and you should go to accessibility and then edit, toggle, and hold settings. And here you set crouch toggle sprint to crouch, crouch slide to crouch toggle, and double tap crouch for sprint slide to off. And what you should do as well is to go over to button mapping, so either on mouse and keyboard or controller, and bind crouch, toggle, and prone hold to the same button. And what you can do then is that you sprint, and when you tap your crouch button once, you slide, and if you keep sprinting, your soldier will go into the crouch sprint. And if you press the jump button or the crouch button again, you will go into the normal sprint because your soldier is standing up. And the crouch sprint is pretty useful because it reduces your footsteps, so if you sprint like this around objectives, the enemies will not hear you. And if you want to use the combat dive, you have to sprint normally and then you hold the crouch button. This can make it easier for you to get behind cover. So I would really recommend to use both of these mechanics. And what you can do as well is the combat roll, and this mechanic can actually save your life, because when you're jumping from a great height, shortly before you hit the ground, you just toggle or hold either the jump or the crouch button, and then your soldier will do this combat roll. I would definitely recommend to get used to this and get used to the height where you can use it, because it can really be helpful. Then at number 3, there is faster sprinting, and this is a mechanic that I think not too many people know that it's in the game, because with either the defibrillator or with a knife in your hand, you sprint faster compared to when you have the primary or secondary weapon in your hand. So when you play as a support player and you want to get out to revive someone, get that defib in your hand before you run out, because then you will run faster. Or when you want to cross a road on breakthrough, for example, and there's people sniping at you, get the knife in your hand so you will run faster. It doesn't work, or it doesn't seem to work with the hammer though. It only seems to work with the defibrillator or with the knife. Number 4, you can pick up class kits again in Battlefield 6. So when you have a weapon lying around with this backpack, you can pick it up and you will not only pick up the weapon, but you will actually pick up the whole class kit. So if you are an assault and there is a support class kit lying around and you pick it up, you will also pick up the defibrillator, for example, or the supply crate or whatever other gadget this soldier had equipped, which can be pretty useful, for example, if you need ammunition, or you want to heal yourself, or you need to revive your squad mates and you see there was a support player who just died, or maybe you killed them. Just pick up their class kit and then you can revive your squad mates or give yourself ammunition. Number 6, when you still run out of ammo and there is no class kit to pick up around, just look at your minimap, because the closest support player or the closest supply crate will be pulsing on your minimap. And if you look towards the direction of this icon, it will pulse in-world as well. So this is a pretty fast way to find support players or to find supply crates. And then when you are inside of the area of effect of a supply crate, it doesn't have the circle around it anymore that it had in the beta, but now you will find a little icon on the bottom of your screen that will show that you are within the area of effect of the supply crate and that it is actually supplying you. And another mechanic that is not so well known probably is that you can also grab ammunition and heals from the back of a support player. So you just walk over to them, and if they have already reached their training path level 3 and have activated this ability, which I hope a lot of you medics out there do, then you can just walk over to them and grab the ammunition or the heals right from their back. And the last tip when it comes to ammunition or managing it is that you can get more ammunition as an assault player compared to what you have by default, because by default the assault class has the weapon sling equipped, and this means that you have one primary weapon and a second primary weapon. But this weapon sling comes with a disadvantage that you start with a lot less ammunition into your games than you normally would. Just unequip this weapon sling and use a second gadget. You can do this. You are not bound to using this weapon sling. And when you use two gadgets on the assault class, just like you would on any other class, you will also have more ammunition for your primary weapon compared to when you're using the weapon sling. Then tip number 10, a mechanic you should also know about, is the sweet spot mechanic for snipers. So there is a certain range for every sniper rifle within your targets will be one shot to the body. And you can find this value in the description of every sniper rifle. So if you look at the top left in the description there, it says the sniper rifle is most efficient within a certain range. And this is your sweet spot range. Now, if you are on the receiving end, you can also identify that you are within the sweet spot of a sniper simply by this little rainbow around the sniper glint. If you see this rainbow, you know that a sniper is looking at you and you know that you are right in the moment within their sweet spot. So try to get out of there and try to get behind cover. The next tip is for squad orders, because as usual in a Battlefield game, there is a squad leader and this squad leader can give squad orders. Now, the squad leader is always the person that has this little cross-shaped icon around its number. And if that's you, then you just point your crosshair at an objective and press the spotting button, which is Q on PC, RB on Xbox, or R1 on PlayStation, at least if you've changed it to this. By default, it's LB on Xbox and L1 on PlayStation, but I would recommend to change it. And then you will give an order, and this will also show up for the rest of your squad members and tells them, hey, we're going to capture or defend this objective. And if you do it correctly, you will also get additional points for this. And you can also do this through the combo rows that you can bring up by holding the spotting button, and then you just go down and then you can select an objective that you want to mark for your squad. And sometimes you might recognize that some objectives already have a yellow marker around them, and this is a recommendation from the AI commander that we're having in the game. So if the squad leader is not giving orders, then the AI commander jumps in and is recommending an objective with these yellow markers. If you want to give this objective as a squad leader, you just point your crosshair at it and then the little yellow icons change to green ones. And I've already talked about the spotting button, so this means of course that you can also spot enemies in Battlefield 6. And this is pretty easy. If you see an enemy, just point your crosshair at them and toggle Q on PC or R1, L1 on PlayStation or RB or LB on Xbox. And then you will spot these enemies with a red dot above them. And it has to be a solid spot. If it's a hollow spot, they're only showing up for you. But if the red dot is getting solid, then these enemies are spotted for your squad, but also for your team. And in addition to this, you also get points for spotting them. What you should be aware of though is that you also get this red dot above your head when you fire your weapon without a suppressor or without a flash hider. So as soon as you start firing your weapon, this red dot appears above your head, and you also appear as a red dot on the enemy's minimaps, and it will only go away when you stop firing your weapon. So if you don't want this, I would recommend to use either a suppressor or the flash hider. The flash hider only hides the red dot but doesn't hide you from the minimap, and the suppressor hides the red dot and also hides you from the minimap for all enemies that are more than 15 meters away from you. And what you can do as well with this spotting function is that when you are downed and you're lying around waiting for a medic to revive you, you can still ping players that are sitting in a corner, for example, and could be dangerous for the one coming around. Now, the problem with this is that only your squad mates can see these markers and none of the other players. So if there's a medic coming around that is not from your squad, they will not see this, but for your squad it's really useful. So if you're lying around there, double tap the spotting button and then you will get this marker that your squad can see, and then they can kill these enemies. And also the other way around, if you are a medic and you want to come around and revive someone, you can ping them. This way you can let down players know that they should wait for you to come around and that you're fighting your way to them and that you will not run past them, because for the down player it will show up like this right here, so they will see that a medic is incoming. But what you should do when you're downed in return is to hold your down state for as long as possible. And this is only possible if you press E on PC or whatever the interact button is on consoles. So I guess square on PlayStation and X on Xbox. If you don't press this button, your down time will be a lot shorter. So if you actually want to wait for a revive, be sure to toggle this button so you have the longest downtime possible. Then again, as a medic, you can make your life a bit easier as well. So for example, if you use the drag and revive mechanic that you get by simply walking over to a down player and press the shown button, then you pick up that person and you revive it while you are dragging them. But when you are stationary, as a support player at least, you revive much faster. So if you don't need to drag someone, stay stationary and revive them faster with this mechanic, and only if you need to drag them, then also drag them away and drag them behind cover. But then when you are behind cover, try to stay stationary so the revive is faster. And if you want to get an even faster revive, just press the button for your defibrillators and run around with them and just quickly zap your teammates back to life. This will give them 50% health if you just quickly zap them, but if you load up the defibrillator completely, which also gives you an audio cue if they're loaded up completely, but you can also see it on these two little LEDs, and then when you revive someone like this, you will give them 100% health. But for a quick revive, the defibs are a lot faster, but on the cost of lower health. And then another tip to health regeneration that I think is also not so well known, because there is a suppression effect in the game that is shown by these little gray hit indicators, and this means that bullets are flying left and right from you and that you are being suppressed. And this does not have any effect on your weapon or on your visuals, but it has an effect on your automatic healing. So if you are behind cover and you are wounded already and you are being suppressed, your automatic healing will stop. So you have to get into actual safety or crawl back somehow to get out of this suppression effect before your automatic healing will start again. This does not have an effect on the healing you will get from a supply crate, of course. And then at the end, 6 tips to vehicles. First of all, the vehicle bars in Battlefield 6 have health sections. For a battle tank, for example, these are 3 sections, and you can see where this section ends and starts with the little marker below the health bar. And this means that when your vehicle's health goes below the end of this bar, that with the automatic healing that the vehicle has, it will only go up to the end of this section. So if you've already lost the first section of your health bar, then you cannot automatically heal all the way up to full health anymore. But instead you need an engineer to repair you, or you need to go to a repair station that will fully repair you again. And these repair stations or repair zones are also available for aircraft. So if you see this little icon right here that seems like a cloud with a jet in the middle, this is an aircraft repair station. And when you fly around this, you will hear like a wrench sound, like someone is repairing your vehicle, and then your aircraft will get repaired to full health again. And what's also really important to know for tank drivers, but also for engineers, is that vehicles have damage zones again in Battlefield 6. So if you're facing the front of a vehicle, of a battle tank for example, you will deal less damage than when you fire a rocket towards the sides of this tank or towards the rear. The rear takes the most damage, so when you fire an RPG for example, you deal up to I think 550 damage, and when you go to the front part it's only 200 something. So if you want to destroy a vehicle quickly, try to get behind it and try to shoot your rockets to the rear part of this vehicle. And as a tank driver on the other hand, try to face the enemy or try to face enemy tanks with the front of your tank and not with the side or the back. Always try to turn in a way that you're not showing your vulnerable side. This will definitely keep your vehicle up a lot longer. And then going back to the aircraft, there's also a very useful mechanic here, and that is called below radar, which means that with your jet or your helicopter, if you're flying below a certain altitude, which should be around 25-30 meters, then no vehicle and no infantry can lock onto you with their lock-on missiles. But this does not count for existing lock-ons. So if you're seeing that a vehicle is trying to lock onto you, you can still try to go down below this altitude and then they cannot lock onto you anymore. But if the lock-on is already done and the missile is on its way, this won't help you anymore. Then only the flares will help. And what you can do as infantry though, the other way around, to aircraft, is to damage any aircraft with any weapon. So if you have an LMG or an assault rifle or even an SMG, you can shoot at aircraft and damage them. So theoretically you can shoot down helicopters with an SMG if they're low on health or you have enough ammo. The only weapons that do not deal damage to aircraft are sidearms. And then you can choose the direction that you want to exit a vehicle. So if you're sitting in a vehicle, in this one for example right here, and you look to the left side of the vehicle, you get out on the left side of the vehicle. If you look to the right side, you get out on the right side. If you look towards the rear, you get out on the rear. This has some limitations. For example, on the small vehicle right here, I cannot get out to the front. On tanks, for example, it works. So keep that in mind if you're an engineer, for example, or if you are a tank driver and you want to repair your vehicle and you don't want to get out towards the enemy, but you want to get out into safety, then look in the direction of the safety and then press the exit button or the interact button, and you will get out into this direction. And that was it for today. I tried to keep this as short as possible, but it's a lot of tips that I tried to get in there because I think they're really important. So if you enjoyed this one right here, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. I'm the Catwoman and you are awesome.